I go by the name of TMF Stevie. It's another episode of the Underground Go Show. Today we got a very special guest, Mr. James Durham. How you doing, man?
Doing fine, man. Pleasure to be here.
Man, I'm glad to have you. Glad to have you, man.
Yes, sir.
Hey, and before we get started, man, I just want to welcome everybody to, you know what I'm saying, this little platform that I put together. And the reason that we kind of put it together, you know what I'm saying, the Underground Go Show, man, I got tons of friends, man, and I don't want to put no ceiling on it because it's a lot of people been reaching out, and I don't know where it could go, but just to start it off, man, it's a lot of people in poverty-stricken environments, man, that they lack the information. You know what I mean? They lack the information. I seen yourself years ago. I mean, on countless occasions, and I know coming up how we come up, a lot of single parent mothers and things like that are teaching their sons that you don't ask nobody for nothing and you can do it. You know what I mean?
Right.
And it's we got to treat the trenches like the escape room. You know what I mean? If you got a clue, if you got some information to help us get out of here, come on, man. You got to come forward with it. You know what I mean?
Yes.
And so, I mean, people like yourself, man, to be able to see you and the things that you've been through, it's information, it's knowledge that if you see somebody that might have a way, that might know the way, ain't nothing wrong with asking them questions, man. Because you can't read nobody's mind.
That's exactly
Without
right.
information that you may have, you can't read one of these youngsters' mind and know what they may need.
Right.
So they got to be open to ask you, you know what I mean? So
And we've got to be available for them to ask us.
exactly. So, take on that responsibility as the elders to take responsibility for some of these youngsters that's pissing away opportunities for whatever reason, you know what I'm saying? So it's going to have to be on both ends, man. So hopefully, I know all the people that it's a laundry list of people that's agreed to come on the show. And I appreciate you for coming, but all the people that sit down beside me, I want these youngsters that's watching this, that's within the sound of my voice to know, man, that all these people available for information. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
So they open can come. They resources, man.
Yes.
Use them. If you see them in the community and you got a question, man, ask them. You know what I mean? You never know that one question could lead to a fountain of information. You know what I mean?
Right.
So, that's part of why I'm doing this and give y'all, man. Y'all got unique stories and you never know which type of story may intrigue a youngster or whatever the case may be. So I appreciate you for coming on with all being said. So.
Yes.
Yeah, man, let's get to it, man. I like to start it out by asking everybody, man, if I'm looking back on it, your journey with this sport thing, you know what I mean? If you could describe it, your life in one word, what would that word be?
Mm-hmm. Rough. Yeah, definitely rough. I did it the hard way, came up the hard way, so it was rough.
Yeah. Oh, man. And you from, Lufkin, Texas, right?
North Lufkin.
North Lufkin.
Yes, sir.
Man. Okay, now what would you say was like your earliest sports memory?
Funny you should ask that. My earliest sports memory doesn't go back to flag football or junior high ball and that because I never did any of that.
Okay.
But where I started at was like, my father was a worker here at Lufkin Industry. My mother was into the church. Didn't have a whole lot of money, a lot of resources. Mm-hmm. So the one thing that we got for Christmas was a football.
Okay.
We're gonna get a football.
Right.
And we just took that and we used it. That was our what we did to play.
Okay.
To have a good time. We didn't have the PlayStations and the Xbox and all that.
Right.
It was more of you get that, you get out there in that field and you get after it, have fun.
Right. And the Pop Warner and things like that weren't available or just it was financial or what like was it?
It wasn't available here in Lufkin at that time. The earliest thing that we had here in Lufkin was the flag football. They started doing that, and I didn't get involved in that. Later on, I was a part of helping get the tackle football league started here the first year with Joe Lee Register and some of the other guys. They started that. We coached those little kids. This was after I was back from college and that type of thing, kind of giving back to the community, and that was it. But far as my day coming through, our football was in the yards, in the streets,
Right.
in the fields.
Right.
So
Other guys and kids in the
other
neighborhood.
guys and kids.
Okay.
Yeah.
And so, well, what was your first since the middle school? I mean, you did the East and West thing, right? You was the East or West guy?
I was an East guy.
Okay.
I was at junior high East. I was part of the class that opened up that school. The first year, we were the first 8th grade class in that school.
Okay.
So I was a part of the East group.
A part of the East group.
Yeah.
And still no sports at East.
No.
Well, how you told you told your kids you cut your teeth in the hood.
Okay. Well, I'll tell you this the way, and this is my story.
Exactly.
The first day we go over to junior high East, and this is our first opportunity to play tackle football, and we had this coach. His name was Bob Barrett.
Okay.
And he was a mean joker.
All right.
So he come in and he have all us lined up there on the wall, all the football, the guys that signed up for football, and he get to telling about all the things that could happen. You could get your leg broke, you could do this, blah blah blah. Now, any of y'all don't want to play, go over there to that wall. And I chose to walk over to that wall.
Really?
Yeah, I did.
Wow.
And I kind of regretted it, but thanks to people like Larry Kegler, who was on our school board. His brother was my classmate. He's deceased.
Right.
One of the greatest players to play in this around here. We were classmates, and he was playing, and I'd sit in the stands and I'd watch him, and Larry would be like, "You need to be out there. You need to be out there. Why aren't you out there?" And I, finally, my 9th grade year, and like I said, 8th and 9th grade was considered junior high at the time. So at that point, I went out in the spring of my 9th grade year, and that's where my journey began.
Wow.
Yeah.
So they knew you supposed to been out there. You just sitting in the stand.
Yeah. I mean,
wow, that's amazing, Mr. Kegler. The Kegler, it's a lot of history with those influential men, man.
Exactly.
Being a part of people like
they're a big part of a lot of people's lives in East Texas, in Lufkin in particular.
Yeah, that's crazy. So you did you. What was you lacking for? Did you lack confidence, or you thought like from you being in the hood, you knew some of the guys that were playing, and you knew that you belonged, or was it like you just shined away? You did it because they wanted you to. Like how did you feel? Did you have any passion for it at that age?
I had passion for it as far as because that's all we done coming up.
Yeah.
Now, once it got organized and all of that, I did
the politics.
Yes, I wasn't really sure if I really wanted to do that. Mm-hmm. And, years went on and I regretted it, but it worked out for the best.
Right.
It worked out for the good.
Right. Okay. Now, how did the coaches take to you? Because a lot of these coaches, they kind of had their hands and their eyes on certain guys at a younger age like that. They already kind of got their picks. Let's just keep it honest. So when you a new guy and you come in and you kind of taking claim, at certain spots, what I'm saying? It's like, They were open to you or whatever, with you being not one of the guys like he kind of came out of nowhere like.
Well, it was a situation where I could run, and there was no doubt about that. I could run, and I was decent size. So as a coach and myself, you kind of eyeball these talents.
Yeah.
Sometimes you see a guy walking through the hall and say, "Hey man, why you not playing?"
Right.
You look like you ought to be able to help us.
Exactly.
And I've done that many a times.
Wow. Okay, so all right, you made the team. What position you playing, Mr. Durham? What position early on? What position you started?
Early on, they had me at almost like an outside linebacker. They called it, a rover back then.
Okay.
Safety, is where I ended up, in high school.
Okay.
And DB.
Who is some of the fellow talents? Like, give me a little framework around what is like on that field. Who are some of the guys that's out there that you joined. That was already out there that some of these people may know. Like who'd you
Well,
team up with?
well, guys like say a Ken Houston.
Ken Houston, okay.
He's a Hall of Famer.
Right.
We grew up watching him on TV, and he was a guy that you wanted to be like.
Right.
Like I said, when we were coming up young, before we started playing, you'd get your ball, you go out there and play. You watch, TV, watch football on a Sunday afternoon.
Who are some of them guys? Let me know some of the. Give me some to paint a picture around the time.
Okay,
So
okay.
who you watching? Like when we watching TV, who you watching?
Well,
them days.
The Bob Hayes back in those era.
Okay, that was
the Bob Greaseys, the Mercury Morrises, all of those. Those were guys that when you get out there to that dirt field, and it's like
that's who you emulate.
That's me.
Yeah.
I'm I'm him. And that's the way it was. I mean, it's just it was a good time. It was good. We didn't get in a lot of trouble. There wasn't a lot of trouble to get into. Mm-hmm. You get out there, you have fun from sun up to sundown playing ball.
Mm-hmm. And the household situation. Give me a little bit about that. Like it was just your mom, or was it?
No, I had a good household situation. Like I said, my dad.
You said your dad.
He worked here at Lufkin Industries. Wasn't a big sports fanatic.
Yeah, I was about to ask you that. He wasn't on to you about ball.
No. He was a worker. He was a worker. He supported us in what we did, but his number one objective was to feed the family, to take care of the family.
One of them, yes. Sir.
He was a real man.
Real talk. Yeah.
And my mother, she grew up playing the piano in church. So we're gonna be in church every Sunday morning on the front row.
Yes, sir.
So my childhood was great. I couldn't ask for better parents, grandparents. Everybody was there. For me. Yeah. But they wasn't football people. They wasn't saying you need to be playing.
Yeah, for you to wait so long, it let you know that your people let you do what it was that you wanted to do.
Right.
And with that being said, and then when you did get involved, how did they take to that? Because, I mean, Lufkin is a very supportive town. You know what I mean? I think they always have been.
Yeah.
So how did they take to that once you did get involved with sports?
Like I said, they loved it. They followed me 100%. I was blessed. You talk about the goats. The real goat.
Yeah.
I was blessed to be able to meet some real goats. And I'm talking coaching level. I'm talking like Willie Ross.
Yeah.
I'm talking like Elmer Red,
yes, sir.
And so, when we were, coming up, and like I said, I went out as a sophomore in high school. I'm going to start playing. I get out there. Something happened one day where I think I'm playing safety. I come down, and I probably hit somebody a little bit harder than the coaches wanted to do. I mean, I'm just being honest.
Right.
And so they get up and they start fussing at me. We ain't doing that, blah, blah, blah. And I said, okay, fine. I'm done.
Right.
And, and I leave. I walk out and leave. And before I could get home, by the time I got home, Coach Willie Ross was sitting in my front yard, right there. And he said, you're not quitting. You're going back. And when you are done, you will be going to University of Houston. And he
really?
Told me that. And at that point, I hadn't played in a game yet.
Wow.
This was like still in spring ball. And true to his word,
man,
that's what happened. That's what happened.
That's amazing. That's what we need. That kind of pouring into a kid.
Yes, you got to have people that's willing to step out and say, I know you're making a bad decision. Come on, let's fix that. Let's get that done because you got a future. And if it was not for Coach Ross, Coach Red, I wouldn't be doing what I'm doing now.
Wow.
I mean, a part of their legacy.
Right.
Yes.
And for him to tell you that without playing the game, man, they probably did so much for confidence. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
As a kid, like them the kind of coaches that make you want to run through a wall for them. You know what I mean? You do anything for them. They got that kind of belief in you. You go out there and you give it your all for real, for real. So, I mean, needless to say, you obviously had a good career, from 10th grade on.
Right.
But you guys winning. How was that? Give me a
We're,
little bit about
we're,
the coaching aspect of that too. Like because they were the coaches at Lufkin High at that
The,
time.
Coach Ross was the coach at Lufkin High.
Okay.
Coach Red had moved on from Dunbar. He was the running back coach at the University of Houston.
Oh.
So Coach Ross coached under Coach Red, so they were
Okay.
they were tight. And Coach Ross was the D line coach, so he didn't coach me, but he recognized where I should be.
Right.
And that's something that's just hard to imagine.
Right.
Yeah.
So recruiting wise, like once you started playing, did you get recruited by other schools?
Okay. So this is the way it was in Lufkin back then.
All right, talk to me. Yeah.
Coach Red was God,
Okay.
in the black community.
Yes, sir.
Whatever Coach Red told you, that's what's gonna happen.
Okay.
And I mean, so he walks into your family's house, and this is any family in Lufkin, in East Texas. He walk into you and say, "We want you down there. Okay, you can go take a visit if you want to, but you're going to Houston."
Wow.
And that's the way it was. I mean, we had when I was at U of H, there was 8 of us from Lufkin.
Ooh.
That was there. 8 of us.
Right.
And he also recruited East Texas, John Tyler, Longview, Nacogdoches, all Marshall. Same respect. Because they knew the foundation. Everybody knew Elmer Red and Lufkin Dunbar.
Right.
Everybody.
Right.
Everybody.
And I just started getting into that. Like the numbers, I don't know if they true or not, but I heard it was like they went to like 10 championships.
Well, I don't know the numbers.
That's what I said. I gotta get with.
They
I gotta get
had
the
a bunch.
numbers right. But he was the coach around that.
He was the coach around here, and he was the guy that, And I've talked to older guys that was under him. They like Coach Red will come find you no matter where you were. If you were doing something wrong, he's gonna come up there. He may whoop your butt.
Yeah.
But when you go home, your parents ain't gonna say nothing. That's Coach Red. He was the GOAT.
Yeah.
The GOAT, the original GOAT.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow. So it was pointless to take visits.
It was pointless to take visits.
You knew what you was going, and with him having that respect, you didn't feel like you was being forced into it. It was like you was privileged. He felt like you could help him, then you wanted to go help.
It was a situation where it was an honor to go play for him. I didn't get the opportunity to play for him at Lufkin Dunbar.
Right.
I grew up, everybody around, like I said, knew Lufkin Dunbar, Dunbar Tigers. I didn't get that opportunity to play for him. I played at Lufkin High School. So to have the opportunity to go down to Houston and just be under him and him have enough respect and things for me that he thought I could play at that level, hey, it was a no-brainer.
Right.
It was a no-brainer. And other schools, they actually refused to recruit here in Lufkin because they didn't stand a chance. If Elmer Red wanted you, he had you. And that's bottom line.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's crazy. So you get to U of H, obviously. You know what I mean? And no bad blood about your decision. You feel like you made the right decision.
No, I definitely made the right decision. When I got to U of H, I saw some of the best athletes I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah.
To the point where, wow.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, we had some really great athletes down there at that time.
Right.
Yeah.
Did you give me your moment when you felt like, okay, I belong here. I do belong.
When at Houston?
Yes, sir.
Okay. I think it was maybe my sophomore year, because my freshman year I redshirted. So back then, you redshirt, you don't play.
Right.
We had the athletes. So my sophomore year, I get there, and I step into the huddle. I think we were playing Arizona State, and I walk into the huddle, the first defensive play of the game, and there's a big, huge guy that used to play at Longview. His name was Jose Taylor. He was one of the greatest defensive tackles to ever play, went on to play for the Baltimore Colts and all that after he left U of H. He looked up at me and he said, "Sucker, don't you get burnt." I said, yes, sir. I kind of backed up and went to work.
Yeah,
Yeah.
man,
Yeah.
that was great. Who did you cross paths with? You shared the field with like some guys, man. That's like wow. You look back and be like,
Well, we played guys, Eric Dickerson. I'm sure you've heard of him. Craig James. Those guys was
man,
at SMU. There was some Johnny Lamb Jones and stuff was at Texas. Curtis Dickey was down at A&M. So it was
wow,
some great athletes in the Southwest Conference at that time. I mean, it was just
man.
every week. Yeah.
Man, that's crazy. How did the Lufkin, just to back up a little bit, like after the sophomore year and you got comfortable? How long did it take for you to, like you say, you played those 3 years
Hmm.
for you to get comfortable in your position to where you felt like I'm him, like I'm you know what I mean? You know what I mean? I know when you end up going to U of H, but
Yeah.
to that confidence, like you go, you know what I'm saying? Like when you become
It
a
probably
player.
it probably would have been my junior year. Uh, I was pretty decent. I don't
Yeah,
toot
I
my
know you
own
got. I
horn,
want to
but
black. I want you. I'm asking you. I
yeah,
want you
yeah,
know what I mean.
yeah.
Just give it to me.
But
Like you know.
yeah, I was pretty decent,
He's pretty
and
decent.
and
Yeah,
it was just a situation where I just balled. I mean, I don't even know how to explain it. I
yeah.
don't
That's
know.
what. And that's another thing with some of the you know what I mean. The older guys. You know what I mean. They sort of like you. They don't be knowing what. I seen listen to Oscar Robertson. You know, he was like. I don't know. I thought everybody played like this. Like, come on, Mr. Robinson, you had
Yeah,
70 points. You thought
yeah.
everybody was doing this. Like
No,
the way
no,
you run and like hitting the hardest you hit, where they have to, hey man, we not light up a little bit. Like you was playing in football in the street your whole life. You
yeah.
know what I'm saying? Like who toned these skills for you to be? You know what I mean?
It
It was just natural.
it was. You may could say bloodline or whatever, but that and I thought about this after I talked with you earlier. Uh, so just bumping back a second, just to give you an idea, uh, the little field that we had that we played in was probably 50 yards long, if that long, not very wide. But out of that that field, we had. I came out. I went to University of Houston. Okay, I had a cousin that come out the year after me. He went to Texas Southern. I had my brother come out the year after him. He went to Lamar, and then I
Come
had my my other cousin's younger brother. He goes to SFA on to play with the Miami Dolphins and the Detroit Lions. So can just imagine the four of us, as kids, you know,
playing on
same
this
neighborhood,
little
throwing the
field.
football around out there, and we all made it.
Come
We
on,
all made
man.
it, and that's just
That's crazy.
yeah.
It ain't no drills. It ain't no
It
cones
wasn't
out
no
there.
drills.
Y'all just
It was no
get into
cones.
it, man.
It's like get the ball. We playing football. We gonna get out here and play. And and it wasn't touch. It wasn't like that. We didn't have no pads. We didn't have no
Right.
helmet. It's like
Yeah.
you know,
Wow.
get after it.
Dang.
Yeah. So
That's crazy. That's why I say this is why I say, man, you boy, y'all goats, man. Like you know what I mean? Because you can't go to like I say all the time. Go to grandma house and she got pictures and
yeah,
seeing the picture you cheesing with the U of H. Like man, it's beautiful, man. You know what I
yeah,
mean?
yeah,
Like
yeah,
you can't tell her that her grandboy wouldn't. You
yeah,
know what I
yeah.
mean?
Exactly,
That's beautiful, man. And then
exactly.
for the family, all from that little 50-yard field.
From that little
Come
50-yard
on,
field. I
man.
mean, we
Come
and
on.
yeah, first cousins.
That's
Yeah,
crazy.
yeah, yeah.
How was it playing for Coach Red down there?
It was great, and Coach Red, he still had his farm here. He still had his cows and all that stuff here. And like I say, my first year when I get down there, I'm a freshman, so quite naturally, you know, I want to come home every weekend. I'm redshirting. I ain't got no game.
Right.
The other team is going on to play
Out of
that Saturday,
town,
but
yeah.
I want to, I want to come back and watch the Panthers play.
Mm-hmm.
The purple was still in me, and
Yes,
not
sir.
always
Yes,
be.
sir.
But I was wanting to come back and watch the Panthers play. So he, for the first about 3 weeks in a row, because he'd come home at night, whatever, and he'd take me back that Sunday because he'd come back after the game, and I'm like, okay. Then he finally hit me with it. He like, you ain't going home next week. What?
Right.
You ain't going home next week. And he refused to bring me home, and I stayed down there, and I didn't make it to Lufkin quite as much anymore. And found things to do in Houston,
Yeah.
But yeah, so it was great playing for him, having him there, father figure, taking care of you. If you had a problem, something's going on, he was right there. He was a father. Yeah. He was a father, just like my one I had at home. Right. I know I can go talk to them. And the other athletes there that wasn't from Lufkin, they kind of ragged us about, yeah, y'all going to your daddy over there.
Yeah,
he gonna take care of you. Yeah, he is.
Right.
Yeah.
That's good, man. So, I mean, not playing in middle school and not growing up playing in high school, it's a blessing to even be able to put on the jersey after college. You know what I mean?
Right.
And how many years did you suit up at U of A?
4 years.
4 years.
Yeah, so I redshirted. I was there for 5. So the first year was a redshirt year. Next year was my freshman and so forth. So I was there 5 years. The time that I was there, we went to 2 Cotton Bowls, 1 Sun Bowl, 1 Garden State Bowl. So, a lot of winning was happening back then with us.
Man, so yeah. Coach Red didn't just win at Dunbar. He played.
Yes,
wow.
yes. He was the GOAT.
The GOAT for real.
Yeah,
that's crazy.
He was the GOAT.
Man, so I was saying that to say, like, to get to that level to play 4 years is amazing. Kudos to you. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? But like, that's a successful. You know what I mean? That's to a lot of people.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Especially like not growing up and, you know what I'm saying, playing it like that. So when did you start to think that you could play past that level?
Well, I guess it was past the high school or college level.
The college level.
Okay. It was like I say, I could run.
Yeah.
I keep going back
to me straight.
I keep
Give it to me straight. Like, you know what I mean? You kind of being.
Yeah. I could run. And I wasn't a bad DB. And it's one thing you can't just give somebody a speed. I mean, you can work on their techniques. You can get that. But, just
that makeup speed.
The makeup speed.
Yeah.
And so we'd had, coaches. We'd have coaches coming in from the pro level. They'd come to U of H because we had guys.
Cotton Bowl, yeah.
We had guys that were there. So they'd come in and, you'd run 40s for them. You'd do things like that. So, I don't know if you know Jerry Glanville, but he was actually the DC at Buffalo.
Okay.
And he had came in to Houston, and the funny thing about it, I wasn't even going to run a 40 that day. I really wasn't. I kind of tweaked the ham, and I wasn't going to run that day. And the other DBs that was coming out with me, they was out there running. They run like 4.5, 4.6, and he's like,
talk heavy, Mr.
Yeah,
what you do to him? Talk to him.
So I'm like, man, it started to get in you. You just
competitive.
Yes, I got to do it. So I go out and I told him, I said, well, I'm a little hurt, but I'm gonna run this. And Glanville like, so I get out there and I run like a 4.29, and he looked down and he said, you're faster with a bad leg than they is with good legs, and it was kind of funny, we laughed it off, and so we go on. That was my senior year. We go on. I go to these combine camps up in Seattle, and they had several teams there: the Cowboys, Seattle, Indianapolis, but bunch of teams there.
How was that, man? What year was this?
This was '83.
Ooh.
I came out in '83 draft. Wow. And it was we get up there and we run drills and do all that, hang out with all the elite athletes of that year coming out, and so all that went down, and I came back. So it was going forward. Draft day comes up. I come to Lufkin for draft day. I was here, and there was a guy from the Cowboys that came down, and he said, we stopped at the Holiday Inn out there, and we sitting there talking, and he's bought a meal and, socializing. He said, well, I'm just letting you know, if we don't draft you, if you don't get drafted today, we want you to be the first guy, free agent guy that we sign. So he was sitting here, with me.
Right.
And then he gets the call. He said, Buffalo just drafted you. He said, I'm finna get on back to Houston and see if I can get some of those other guys.
Wait, his time was up right there.
Yeah. He took off. About 2 minutes later, Jerry Glanville called, and he said, James, we got you. I'm like, and that's the best feeling in the world. Like you say, for a guy that never played, junior high ball, 3 years of high school ball, to be able to get to that level, it's an accomplishment in its own. If it never went any further, that's just it's an accomplishment of its own. So, that's just it.
That 4-2 was on Glenville mind,
Oh,
wasn't
yeah.
it? Man, how was those feelings going through those combines up in Seattle? Being a small town kid from North Lufkin, man. Just
well, it really wasn't any different because it was a lot of other small town kids there. I mean, this was like, I think maybe the top 300 kids was at this camp. Guys was at this camp, and a lot of them were just like, we were all alike. I mean, you kind of bond with them. All the DBs got to get together, and we took off and went out and had good times afterwards. And it was no different than being at U of H with the guys, just being around some good people.
Yeah. Man, that's man. So you end up Buffalo, different weather, everything. Then what's the name? How how was some of that? Like that's amazing, man.
It was an experience, and I didn't make the final roster there. But going through the training camp,
that's what I'm saying.
Going there, we played the preseason games, and the people that was there, the fans and stuff. It's just like you see them now. They're winning now. They love their Bills. Yeah. They love their Bills. I mean, you can't do no wrong up there. Yeah. It was a great experience, man. It's a great experience.
And that was the only opportunity that, because I don't know about the rumors, but it was, that was the only team, or did you come back and try out for another team?
Okay, so the following year I was in San Francisco, Joe Montana and the crew, and and it was a great experience.
Man, how you? What was it like? Give me some more context around that as far as like agents and stuff like that at that time. You had an agent?
I had an agent that was out of Houston.
Okay.
And he was the guy that got us where we needed to be.
Okay.
It wasn't as drawn out like it is now.
Yeah,
these guys it's a big deal now.
Yeah.
Then, I think, your agent say like, whatever you get, I'm getting 3% of it. Yeah. 3% is nothing with these guys getting now. But it's I had the agent and full 9 yards and all that.
Man.
Yeah.
That's amazing. Coming from, what I'm saying, like where we come from to experience the D1 level. We was talking about numbers and statistics, and that's why I like to say that you guys are goats for real, because the numbers, you know what I'm saying? People don't get a chance to it's frowned on. Like people think that it's like a given that you get a chance to compete. You know what I mean? So for Coach Red to say what he said, you still, the first part of it, you had to have the grades to go to U of H.
Oh yeah.
You know what I mean? That's a first challenge of it all.
And that's exactly right. And that's one of the things that our kids, our parents today, and we try to educate them on that, but they don't. It's a lot of them that don't get it. Mm-hmm. All they see is little Johnny on Friday night and he's making plays.
Exactly.
But all of that starts when little Johnny comes over to high school as a ninth grader.
Exactly.
Because that's where your grades
GPA start.
That's where it starts. That's where it starts. So and you know they don't understand. They don't get that. All they know is he played, he played. You know, did all of this, and why is he not signing with A&M or Texas and
Exactly.
all of that? Well, look at
His
his grades.
GPA
He
is
cannot
so
get into
he
that
can't
school.
get into
He
it.
can't get into it. You know.
Man,
So
I know it was some guys that unforeseen circumstances all through, not just Lufkin but East Texas, talented
very.
guys, and that hurdle right there they can't get
Yeah.
over.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And I know for a fact that you probably played with countless guys who were when
Yeah.
you got to U of H, you probably looking back like
Yeah.
I know guys that could compete at this
Yeah.
level. You know
Yeah.
what I mean?
There's no
Some of my
doubt.
guys,
There's no
man,
doubt. There's no
that I
doubt.
would love to go to war with, man.
Yeah. Yeah.
Give me. I mean, you play safety. Oh, you stayed on the DB side, Joe.
I stayed on the DB side. I was a safety. I was a corner.
Yeah.
I was drafted as a corner. I played safety and corner at U of H. It's DB.
Bro,
Yeah.
who are some of the guys you love to go to battle with, man, that you played with in these Lufkin High School, your 3 years at Lufkin High?
Oh man. We like
'Cause
I
these
said,
kids, they need to know these names.
the
Man.
Jimmy Keglers. It was like I say, he's deceased now. Victor Doggett, he's one of the ministers that's here in town. You know, Freddie Davis, he's deceased now. You know, he was defensive tackle, offensive tackle. Just tons of guys, man.
Really?
Ronnie Blake, he was our quarterback. He was a year younger, but he was our quarterback. Tim Adams, we went to Houston. He ended up going to Houston with me
Right.
the year after I did. We had C.D. Bynum, Dwayne Calloway. All of these guys, played here. Another one of the great ones that came from here that's no longer with us, T.J. Turner.
Yeah.
I don't know if you
Yeah,
you're
he
familiar with
played
him,
it. I know he went on to
yeah,
play the
he
NFL,
went on to
right?
play with the Dolphins.
Dolphins.
And I'm not giving away too much, but I think we may be finna have a surprise coming up with him. One of the facilities that's out at the school. So,
Yeah.
it's some great guys, man.
Yeah.
Great guys. Not all of them get a chance to make it.
Exactly.
But,
Exactly. And that's why that's another reason. Like I said, not just talent wise, but being one of the the GOAT, like to be able to, check those boxes and be able to do that. That's a
Yeah.
big accomplishment
Yeah.
too, man. And that's a testament to your upbringing because you know what I mean. You had to have this stuff in order when your opportunity comes, because opportunity come knocking, and
Yes.
you don't always have the grades to do that. So
Exactly.
man, so that's big too for Coach Red, man. But yeah, I want to ask you, did you followed the Dunbar days, like when you were as a youngster in Lufkin? I know y'all was playing doing y'all thing,
yeah,
but
yeah. I was a youngster.
Yeah.
And as I told you early, my dad wasn't a big.
right,
He was
right.
working. He's taking care of us. My mother, she was at the church and everything. So we didn't get to go to a lot of their
That's why,
games.
man, yeah.
But every Friday or Saturday when they were playing, we're right there by the radio and we're listening.
yeah,
We're
yeah,
listening.
yeah.
Dunbar Tigers. We're
Yeah.
listening.
Man.
So it was a big deal, and it was an honor to be as a seventh grader, and this was after school was integrated. Dunbar Elementary is where all the seventh graders went to school down there. So you're walking on hallowed ground. This is walking up on that field up there on the hill up there at Dunbar. That's hallowed field. Some great ones came through there.
Right. That's where y'all. What did y'all play there at that field?
No. We played the. You talking about Dunbar?
No, the Lufkin. When you played in Lufkin, you said y'all was the first group to come after the.
After the integration.
When did y'all play it? Yeah. And where was y'all field? Like, where was y'all home games at?
Our home games would have been, where Piney Woods Academy is.
Oh, okay.
That field that's back there, that used to be.
That was the Lufkin High field.
That was the Lufkin High field. And Dunbar High School, Lufkin High would play on Fridays, and Dunbar would play at that field on Saturdays if they were in town.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
That's
Yep.
man. That's crazy. Man, I usually say, before we get any final words before we get out here, because I got a final question that I always like to ask people, man, about just one more time lace them up, man, like if you could lace them up one more time, would it be for that Panther pride? I know you Panther pride, you know what I mean? But you know what I'm saying, like you played in some big games at U of H, you know, Cotton Bowls, etc. But like one final time, you know what I mean, just to lace them up, would it be for the pack or would it be for Coach Red and U of H?
Boy, you laid it out there. I'm gonna tell you, of all the games I played in my life, you know, the one that I remember the most and that I'll never forget. I don't even know who the last game I played against at U of H. It was probably Rice, but I don't even know who the last game I suited up at as an NFL guy.
Mm-hmm.
But my last game as a Lufkin Panther
Wow.
at A. Martin Stadium was against the Longview Lobos.
Remember that?
And I'll remember that the rest of my life.
Man.
You know, it was a situation where they came in. They were supposed to be better than us. They were supposed to beat us. We beat them 28-20 that night and went to the playoffs. We was only taking one team in the playoffs. Back then there was one team go. And so
you gonna have a successful season and still miss
you can have a very successful season and still miss it.
Man.
So it was that would be, so if I could lace it up one more time, it would be for the Lufkin Panthers. Yeah.
Man. That's I felt that. I know you got a lot of Panther pride, and I'm glad I got a chance to sit down with you, man. And these kids, man, I need to. Hey, like I say, within the sound of my voice, man, you youngsters, ask some of these guys, man, whatever you may want to know, any kind of questions, man. You got a lot of history with people like Mr. Durham, man, and I'm super grateful that you came, man.
Hey, I'm proud you had me.
And you're a little, it's a little too humble because I know it's some. You know what I mean? What's the best game you had? What you got? What's the best game you at U of H? Like I want to kind of trick you into talking some. You know what I mean? You give me some. Man. I can't get out of here with you because you holding a lot in. I know.
Well, you know, I would think my best game at U of H would have been, and even though we lost the game, I thought I had a good game.
Right.
Was the night we played the Pony Express at Dallas, SMU. You know,
y'all beat them. Oh, you say y'all lost.
They got us that night. We beat them when Dickerson and James were freshmen. We beat them because they're a year behind me, but we all came out. We were in the same draft class.
Right.
But
you ain't never had to get no ankle size and up running down. How?
I can run, but he can run too.
Yeah.
I give him his props. I can run, but he can run too. So there was no running him down.
Right.
You better have a good angle.
Yeah.
But yeah, that would be the one.
Right.
Yes,
you always felt like you belong. Even them days sharing the field with people like that, you felt like.
I mean,
you're a humble guy, but I know.
But it's a mindset. If you don't feel like you belong, you're not gonna belong.
Yeah.
You know, and that's high school, wherever. If you don't, when you step on that field for us on Friday night, if you don't feel like that you should be there, or you're afraid of what the other guy is maybe better than you, the odds of you having success is not good. So you got to believe in yourself before anybody else can.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Now you've been coming back and watching these sports, multiple sports, you know what I'm saying, for a while now. Who are some of the favorite guys that you like to see at the high school level that you like? You know, you like watching. You know, so if you get props from the older guys, and you kind of like a bad boy, right? So who are some of the guys you like? I liked watching him for the Panthers. I liked him.
Now or past?
Past from the time you left.
Javorsky Lane. Dez Bryant.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and those are the easy ones to say.
Yeah, right.
But you know, I had the opportunity of coaching those guys in 7-on-7. Okay. You know, back then. Those were passionate guys.
They had,
those were passionate guys. I mean, Alton Dixon.
Right.
All of those were passionate guys that, you know, it didn't matter what the situation was. You give Javorsky Lane the ball, he's going to take care of business. You get the ball close to Dez, he's going to take care of business.
Right.
You you come running up in Alton face, he's gonna knock you
Yeah.
out.
Yeah.
So
Right.
those would be the guys, that just jumps off right now. That
Right.
I'd go watch those guys play no matter where they was at.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's what I want. That's what I wanted. Yeah, man. Well, like I say, man, I'm glad you came because when I heard the story, I was like, it's a go. I heard it was limited ball. I didn't know if it was high school because what I heard was it wasn't high school ball, and then you went to U of H. I'm like,
No.
what? So you know what I mean? I was
Yeah.
like, I was super intrigued, and I wanted
Yeah.
to. I couldn't wait to sit down with you to get the actual
Yeah.
story,
Yeah.
and it's still nothing short of amazing to be able to, you know what I mean, go on to get your drafted. Like, come on, man.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, you're a GOAT. I wanted to give you your flowers, Mr. Durham, and you know what I'm saying? And these flowers don't die, man. Like, you one of them ones. I know you was great, quiet guy. You people would never know, if you
Yeah.
didn't know. Some of those
Yeah.
younger guys, like, if you don't know, you don't know, man. And when people see you, I hope they come in, you know what I mean? Just ask questions and the information, man. These youngsters, they lack the information, and we got to
Right.
try to provide it for them,
Right.
because, you know what I mean? From, like I said earlier, it's a lot of talk with the little league stuff going on in Lufkin. Like, hey, man, from the time you're in the 9th grade to the 12th grade, that GPA, they come up with a number, you know what I mean?
Exactly.
Depending on that
Exactly.
number, your test score going to have to, you know what I
Yeah,
mean?
that's
And the
right.
higher your GPA, the more you can, the less you can make on that test score and
Yeah.
still be eligible. So
Yeah.
when you're in the 9th and 10th grade and you running
It's
around,
important.
it's important.
Yeah.
Later on, once you get your little growth spurt and you
Yep.
start turning into a little man,
Yep.
and you become a recruitable prospect, and now you can't go to A&M or wherever because your GPA too low, and you find yourself in a situation trying to take classes that you messed up in early on in high school,
Exactly.
so you can get that GPA higher, so that test score can come lower, whatever the case may be. Because so. Just not knowing that kind of stuff, and you out there and you in the 9th and 10th grade, and you gonna be an athlete. You special. You little Johnny, one of them ones.
Yes.
But then little Johnny become a senior,
Yeah.
and he can't go nowhere.
He can't go nowhere. But then it's the coach's fault.
Yeah,
But
too.
we ain't going on to that today.
But that's why I say us as our community,
Yeah.
we got to put that
Yeah.
into them
Yeah.
too, because you know what I'm saying, like. You know what I mean? Because we may not have them coaches like Coach Red. Like when you say you quit, some of the coaches nowadays, quit then.
Yeah.
He's
That's
not finna go be at your house when you
Right.
get there.
Right.
So we might not have them kind of guys no more. So we got to try to catch that slack. You know
That's
what I mean?
exactly
For these
right.
youngsters, you know
That's
what I'm saying?
exactly right.
Because you hear these youngsters, they don't care. They say they don't care. That's because they itching to be a part of something.
Yeah.
And they ain't a part of nothing, so they don't care. They don't care about nothing.
Yeah. And that's a lot of the problem that I feel like we've got in the streets right now. We got kids that want to be a part of something that doesn't have anything, and they're being a part of the wrong thing now.
Right.
So that's for another day.
Right. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So
Yeah.
that's been another episode, man, the Underground Goat Show. Mr. Durham, I'm TMF Stevie. Make sure you like, share, subscribe. Man, we got a lot in store for y'all, man. So shouts out to Legend, man, a GOAT for real, for real. So y'all keep it locked.